Hey everyone, Kevin here, and what I'd like to do in this video is share with you a very good performance plugin for WordPress. As you can see here, it's called Perfmatters, and it was created by Brian Jackson and his brother. Now, you may be aware of Brian already. He is the owner of Workup. He works for Kinsta. He used to work for Key CDN, but myself and many other people know him best as he's a member of Rise Forums. So Brian hangs out in Rise Forums a lot, and Brian knows a lot about SEO, but he also knows a lot about website performance. So it's no surprise that he has designed this plugin. So I've had this plugin installed on my website for about a week or so now, maybe 2 weeks, and it's very, very good. So essentially what this will do, you can see up here, it will reduce HTTP requests, so it will reduce the number of total requests that your page generates, and it will reduce page size. So again, this is a performance plugin, but it is worth stressing that this isn't a replacement for a caching solution. So it's not going to replace W3 Total Cache or WP Rocket or anything like that, Super Cache and things like that. It's not designed to replace it. It's designed to complement it. So it is worth pointing that out. So just quickly talk about price before we go on. There's a 25% discount just now, but that's only at the beginning, so be quick if you want to buy it. But it's very cheap anyway. It's just under $20 for one website. 3 websites is under $50, $49.95 there, and unlimited is $99.95. And with all of them, you get a 30-day money-back guarantee and 1 year of updates and support. So enough chit-chat. Let's check out the plugin. Now this is the review that I've prepared, and I will be publishing this alongside the video, and I'll refer back to this review in a second because I've did some tests to show you how this works. So this is a plugin, and you can see the Perfmatters settings area can be found under the main settings menu in WordPress, and it's got a couple of different tabs here. License, enter your license information. Support just links to their website. But under the options page is where you'll see most of the features. And here what you can do is disable and enable lots of different things. And what you enable and what you disable is really up to you. It really depends on what features you need on your website. You can see that I've disabled a lot of things that I don't think I need and kept a lot of things enabled. I've kept feed links. I've kept RSS feeds. I've not disabled embeds because I publish a lot of YouTube videos. Now, the good thing about all of this is you'll see a little question mark here, and when you click on it, it'll open up a new tab and there'll be a full explanation about what that happens. Now, one of the things I mentioned in my review was I'd like to see that kind of information embedded into the plugin. For example, you click there and then it will break down like a drop-down menu and explain what that feature did, so you wouldn't have to keep going back and forth. From an administration point of view, I understand why they've did this, because what it means is they can just centralize all the content from one area in the documentation area. But I think from a user friendliness point of view, it'd be good if you didn't have to keep going back and forth that way. It's not a major inconvenience, but I think it would be good. So the documentation area is really quite detailed. Actually, there's a lot of details about what each feature does, so that's really good. You're not using this blind. And for example, with embeds, it's explaining why you would want to disable it. It's telling you there that when you might drop 1.3 kilobytes and things like that. XML, RPC. There's lots of different things here. I don't want to get into all of them, but really you need to kind of look at each feature, read the explanation and decide, okay, I'll keep this enabled or I'll disable it. I've got things like heartbeat that can add to page loading times. All these limit post revisions, I already do that through the WP config file, so that's not something I need. Auto save interval, just kept it as default. So yeah, what I recommend doing is just testing all of these different things and seeing how it works. Seeing. You really need to check it and understand what you're removing first, though. That's the thing. So I do highly recommend checking the documentation area and seeing what you need and what you don't need. There's a lot of bloggers who wouldn't need feed links or RSS feeds. So you can disable those. Accessibility mode, you can actually disable the switches so that it just displays checkboxes. So if for any reason, the switches aren't displaying properly, you can click that and you'll go back to the switches. Or you'll remove the switches more like. Okay, so see this feature here, Script Manager. This is a feature that has just been added and it is very, very good. I'm really interested to see where they take this. Now the feature's only been there a few days, but essentially what happens is when you're on the front end of your website, you go to Script Manager in the WP admin bar, you click on it, and then you will see all the JavaScript and all the CSS code that is loaded on your website. So for each thing, what you can do, for each script, you will see the size of the script, you'll see the name, and you'll see the location. So that gives you an idea of where it is. This is a JavaScript thing. This is from a plugin, Download Manager. It would be good if I actually told you the name of the plugin. I think that would be quite helpful. And then it's got disabled and enabled. Now everything is enabled by default, but what you can do is enable it and disable it for the current URL, or you can disable it everywhere and then enable it for specific areas of your site, like posts and pages and downloads. That's a post type that I have. Feed sources, feed items, that kind of thing. Any other custom post types that you have there would be listed there as well. Now, I need to kind of go through all this. I think I'll be able to enhance my website a little bit more. I really need to go through all of these and research what they're doing, because at this point I don't know what they're doing, what they're not doing. But I explain this feature in my review, and there's a link that I probably should have loaded up before. Where is it? Where's the link? Yeah, I see it here. So on the information page about the Script Manager, Brian gives a few examples about why you would need this. And essentially what it is there's lots of WordPress plugins, and what they do is when you activate the plugin, they load the scripts on every page of your website. The problem being, you're not using that in every page of your website. And it gives a few examples. For example, Contact Form 7. You could install Contact Form 7 to add a contact form to your contact page and nowhere else on your website. But that plugin will activate and load the JavaScript and CSS code on every single page of your website. So it could potentially, like if I installed that on my website, I've got thousands of pages, that would load thousands of pages of JavaScript and CSS, or load the code on thousands of pages. And I would only need it activated on one page. So it's not very efficient. And that's where the Script Manager comes in. You can jump over to the Script Manager and then disable it everywhere except the pages you need it. It's the same here. It talks about social media sharing plugins should only be loaded on your posts, but all the plugins are loading it on the whole website. And there's a table of contents plugin. This is quite common for plugins to do this. They load it on every single page of your website, even when it's not required. So this is a problem with WordPress in general, WordPress plugins. So it's very important, that Script Manager. It says here that they've decreased their HTTP requests by over 10 on some of their home pages. My only criticism, not so much a criticism, but I think, when I look at this page as far as disabling scripts, it's a bit of a minefield, because I really do need to do a lot of research to figure out what is needed and what's not needed. The suggestion I made in my article was that there should be some sort of suggestion thing. So for example, if you look down here, where is it? Have I got it disabled? It's not loading there. I had Jetpack related posts. That was one example. And I don't know if I've disabled it everywhere. But the example I used was that if there are common plugins, common WordPress plugins, it would be really good if the plugin recognized what the plugin was doing and where it was needed. For example, it would maybe come up with a suggestion, contact forms is loading in all pages. You only need it activated on the pages that you're displaying your forms. For Jetpack related posts, it could maybe say something like, you only need this on your posts. You don't need it anywhere else on your website. If you look down the page, for some reason I'm not seeing Jetpack related posts anymore. I don't know why. don't know why. But you can see here, this is my easy social share buttons plugin. And I use that for sharing buttons. And you can see I've disabled it everywhere except my blog post, because that's the only place that it's really required. So yeah, it would be good if I think that'd be a cool thing to do. You know, if it said this plugin only really needs to be on these pages, here's what we suggest you do. And then maybe give you an option to quickly enable, or perhaps there's a recommended settings option. From a development point of view, I realize that's a pain, but I'm just thinking from a user's point of view here. Yeah, but from a user's point of view, you do kind of need to go through all of these and go, right, where is this necessary? Where do I need this? You know, like here, Clean Talk, Spam Protect. You know, you'd think you'd only need it in the posts, but then there might be other pages, I think. And you know, here's an example, right? I'll turn this on just now. I might only need this on my posts, and you can see when these are disabled, I'm going to reduce my page size by 2.4 and 5.8 kilobytes. So probably should have did this earlier. Now, there's other things as well I need more research, because there's like Jetpack CSS, which is 64.6 kilobytes. That's quite a lot of CSS to load, but I'm not sure of where that's, you know, what that's loading. You know, is it loading related posts? Is it loading other things? You know, which pages do I need that? And this is where I think website owners like myself will maybe run into some problems, in that it isn't always clear, you know, where it's actually required. It's obvious for a contact form plugin, you only need it for your contact form page, but for other pages, you know, Jetpack does a lot of different things as far as CSS, related posts, all these different things. As far as related posts and subscription forms, there's so many things it does, so you'd have to really mess around with it, do lots of testing. But in saying that, this isn't a criticism of the plugin. Once you've actually went through all these, did lots of trial and error, I mean, you can see like 66, 64 kilobyte, 33 kilobyte, 20 kilobyte. See if you can disable these scripts on pages that are not necessary. You could potentially decrease your homepage and all these other pages, decrease the page size by a few hundred kilobytes. It really is that, it is possible to do that. So I'm going to maybe speak to Brian and ask for his advice on what I should disable and what I should enable. There's a lot of potential there for the script manager, so it's a really good feature, and I'm really looking forward to how they develop that, because again, it is important to remember this plugin has only been out a few weeks. This feature itself is in beta phase, and I think this is going to be one of the killer selling points of this plugin. I really do. Now, I could do some tests again. I'll quickly, let me see, GT metrics. Good old faithful GT metrics. Okay, so I'll load that up. But in the meantime, I'll just quickly go through my review. So this is my review, and I do recommend looking at the review as well if you're not on my, like, you know, if you're not watching the video on my website. So I did some tests, and I did it with no plugins activated, and I did some tests with WP Rocket and Auto Optimize activated, and then this will help me show, you know, the performance upgrade that you'll get, the improvement in performance. Still waiting for that. So I've probably just taken off a couple of kilobyte there just by disabling the scripts there that I did. Which one of the Clean Talk ones? I've probably improved it there. But for here, you can see that these scores here, where when I didn't have anything activated, no performance plugins, and then these scores here were from when I've activated Perfmatters. And there's a slight improvement. You can see it now. You'll see performance grade went up slightly. The page size dropped from 668 to 614. That's quite good. Total page requests dropped by 4. And it's the same with GT metrics. We saw page size drop from 703 down to 677. Requests 51 down to 48. So the page speed insight score gone from 55 and 69 to 57 and 73. Now, you shouldn't be getting scores that bad because you should be using a caching plugin. And if you're not, you should be. So I did the test again with WP Rocket, which is what I use for caching. And I did it with Auto Optimize. That's another really good WordPress plugin, which, where did I link to it? here. Now, this is another WordPress plugin that I recommend. And again, the great thing about Perfmatters is it works in conjunction with these performance plugins. It doesn't replace them, it enhances them. So I didn't have to change anything. I was just installing something else that reduced page loading times even further. Now you can see my score there, but if I jump over here for a second, before I had Perfmatters activated, you can see that the page size was 668, and it dropped down to, in fact, I'm sorry, I'm looking at the wrong part there. Way the wrong part. Okay, these are the scores. I apologize for that. So these are the scores I would got today with WP Rocket, Auto Optimize, and the Cloudflare CDN activated, but I didn't have Perfmatters activated. And these are the scores when Perfmatters was activated, when the plugin was activated. So it dropped from 580.2 kilobytes down to 509.3. So it's about 70 or so kilobytes. That's really good. Requests, for some reason, Pingdom showed requests going up. I'm still not sure about that one. GT Metrics showed the page loading time. The page size dropped from 601 down to 481. So 120 kilobytes. That's a huge improvement. You know, when you already got it down to 600 or so kilobytes, dropping down to 481 is a huge improvement. And that one actually showed requests 29 to 25. So I don't know why Pingdom didn't change. And the page speed insight score was the same. And you can see my score. This is a live test. You just saw me doing it. 530 kilobytes, fully loaded time. Now I'm not sure why I'm getting a different result than I did last time. Not sure, because I've not changed anything, but this is what happens. See with these performance websites, every time you run it, you get different scores. The loading time scores, sometimes the page speed and, you know, like the grading changes as well. These were the scores that I got earlier, and you can see that because I've taken a screenshot, so you know I'm not lying. But it's kind of irrelevant. The whole point is that I already had an optimized website. I had a website that was getting an 8A score on GT Metrics. It's not perfect. There's still a lot of optimization I can do, but my website was fairly optimized and it loaded quickly. Installing Perfmatters improved it even further. Now, if you're looking to improve the speed of your WordPress website, you should really install use a content delivery network, and you should install a caching plugin such as WP Rocket, W3 Total Cache, Super Cache, all that, Comet Cache, all that kind of thing. Choose one of those. That is where you're going to see the biggest improvement in performance, without a doubt. Without a doubt, the caching solution is what's going to really increase your page loading times and take you from being like a D or an F or a C in these performance websites like this and put you right up to an AA or an AB. That's what you need to do. That being said, when you have optimized your website, you're always trying to, you know, tweak it a little bit further and just get rid of any unnecessary weight. And this is where plugins like Auto Optimize and Perfmatters comes in. I thought I'd optimize my website as much as I could. I didn't think the WP Rocket, you know, WP Rocket and Auto Optimize did everything I thought they could do. I didn't think I could optimize it any further. And Perfmatters managed to take up about 100 kilobytes off my homepage. That's really impressive. Very, very impressive. And the fact that at the moment you can get it for like $15 is even more impressive. It's a very, very cheap solution. So, yeah, I mean, I think everyone should be taking website performance seriously. You really should. There's no excuse for it. Website page loading times affect performance, affect SEO performance. They affect your search engine ranking. If you've got a slow loading website, Google and Bing and all these other search engines, they will rank your website lower. But also, if you've got a slow loading website, you'll also have lower conversions. People will click back. They will see that your website's taking a long time to load and they'll click back. You know, so there's no excuse not to do this. It's very easy to install a caching plugin. And as I've shown you, it's very easy to install Perfmatters. It is, you know, like all you do is just click the switch on and off. That's it. Look how easy that is. So, overall, very, very happy with this plugin. I do think it would be good to have some of the documentation embedded into the plugin, and I'm really looking forward to seeing how they develop this script manager and just make it a little bit more user-friendly as far as just, you know, perhaps a suggestion mode, something where you don't have to do so much investigation. But It is in beta phase, and I'm sure we're going to see it improved over time. Overall, very happy with it. Alongside WP Rocket and Auto Optimize, Perfmatters is going to be a permanent performance solution for me on my website. And the fact that you're looking at this on my website should, illustrate that I'm not showing you in a demo website. This is my live website. I bought it with my own money, and I believe in the plugin. It's very, very good. So kudos to Brian. I knew it was going to be a good solution anyway. Brian's got a lot of knowledge in this area. He's worked with performance and companies like Kinster, Keys, CDN, etc. So he knew what he was doing. He's wrote a lot of good optimization guides. Here's one of them. This is a really good optimization guide, which is linked in the plugin. Yeah, so no surprise that Brian and his brother Brett have designed such a good plugin. So I highly recommend checking this out, guys. Please do also check out my article. If you're watching this on YouTube, please do also check out my article to see a little bit more about the scores, etc. Yeah, check it out. Very good plugin, very cheap to buy, very affordable, and you get a year of support and updates. And $20 for one website, but you can get it for $15 just now. That's unbelievably cheap. So to learn more, go to perfmatters.io. Check it out. Highly recommend it. And do check out my affiliate review of this as well. Check out my review. And until next time, thanks for watching, guys. Please do leave a comment if you've got any questions about this plugin. Please do subscribe, like, share, and all that good stuff. And until next time, take care.